first of nights when the moon's up high. There's a man with a talent, a spark in his eye. He's got a wicked creation that's one of a kind. With his 3D printer, he'll blow your mind. Frightful Forge, his name speaks for itself. Printing monsters and ghouls straight out of hell. From skeletons to witches, his designs are supreme. In the realm of horror, he reigns supreme. Frightful Forge, he's the master of fright. With his 3D prints, he'll keep you up all night. Spooky creatures crawling out of his machine. Frightful Forge, the Halloween scene's new king. TV's new king. Easy will and Porsche. Twitch.tv/Frightful Forge. Twitch.tv/Frightful Forge.
You're muted.
You know, I have 15 mutes. They're going to get me every time. Thank you very much. I am GM Dan with Frightful Forge. And now that I know my audio is coming through on Twitch, I'm going to close that. Boop. I am with Frightful Forge, a subsidiary of Gamersledge. We are here for a live play podcast of D&D 5e. We've had several episodes so far going into the backgrounds of some of our singular characters, a unique menagerie of interesting personalities. We have this and one more character background, and we'll loop through that one when we're able to get to it. But I am here to welcome you, and we will move to the players. Hey, players. So I know it's been a couple weeks. Hopefully we'll be able to jump back into this. I am super excited to nip the backstories in the bud so that we can get started with the big module setup. We're going to be doing Journey through the Radiant Citadel and then touching into Spelljammer, which is why Spelljammer is in the description of this podcast. So we're going to go ahead and start from the top. We'll start with Megan. So go ahead and we'll go in a loop, and just who you are, who you're playing, and yeah.
My name is Megan, and I'm going to be playing a sorcerer pixie named Una.
My name is Jim. Most people know me as Shank, and I will be playing Sibo Bottle Pop, the Goblin Alchemist.
I am the Crow Dad. I am playing Keck, which is a fighter Thrycreen.
Guessing it's me. I'm Prudence. I'm playing a tiefling bard.
I'm Andres, and I'll be playing Erandi, a Harangan trickster player.
And I'm Justin. I'm going to be playing a Warforged Ranger named Silas.
I'm not sure how it ends up happening. I don't know if it's in alphabetical. Oh, yep, that's what it is. It's in alphabetical. I was trying to figure out why Justin has been in the center so often.
That makes sense now.
So on Gamersledge YouTube, you can find the majority of our backstory episodes where we delve into each of these individuals and learn a little bit about the character they're playing before we bring them all together in their Avengers-style party. Tonight, though, is going to be the story of Prudence, the Tiefling Bard, played by Naomi. Okay. I did have you coming across a little bit quiet, Naomi. So, yeah.
I
would,
can try to fix that, but I also had to be careful because background noise.
yeah, I think that's also better already because you kind of moved it towards your mouth. So,
Okay.
awesome. I dropped in the Laughing Corpses text chat that this is going to be mostly taking place in a kingdom called Manan. That's a desert kingdom, mostly focusing on the main city in that kingdom called Thurnen. And it's where we'll start. Today has been a rough speaking day for me, so if anything needs to be repeated, as always, please just let me know, and I will happily repeat myself. We start with a warm wind blowing across desert sand. It's the sand of this desert is a mixture of reds, oranges, and bright yellows, and the wind whips through, mixing and somehow separating these colors in huge swaths across the dunes. There is a man pushing through the sand. His skin has become sunburnt and raw. The wind blowing sand across has created burns, almost like rash, across his knuckles, arms, face. He has fabric covering him in several layers that maybe once had color, and whether it be the bleaching of the sun or just the constant dirt and sand blowing over his frame, the colors are now muted, heavily muted, and he almost disappears into the backdrop of these large dunes. He is standing, though, and fighting for each step. And there are only a set of footprints behind him, but he is dragging a pack. It maybe at one time was a rope dragging this pack, but that rope has dwindled down to a few pieces of fiber, just enough to pull this sled behind him. Would somebody like to play Gaunt? He is a aging merchant, clever merchant, and this will probably be the only time he's played.
Sure.
Okay. You are traveling from, you thought there was a small town somewhere here, but you haven't been able to find it. This is your first place, your first time through this part of the desert. And it was a small trading town, kind of like a crossroads. But you lost your camel about half a day behind you. I say half a day and not distance because you have no idea how far you've traveled in that time.
Can you elaborate on lost?
Did it die
Oh,
or
it
did
died.
it burn away?
Oh no, it died. Yeah.
It died.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the small amounts of weight that you were able to pull behind you is now cutting a furrow through the sand. And it's you had been carrying it, but also gave up on that a while ago. It is, you are dry, filthy, in pain, burning, and you have fallen several times, but always seem to manage to pull yourself back up and continue the path. In the distance, amongst a hazy gloom, you see what looks like a person beckoning you. But in that haze, it's near impossible to give that form distinct characteristics.
I'll I'll dig deep and kind of resettle the strap of the gear that I'm dragging behind me over my shoulder and kind of dig into it with two hands and try to stabilize myself a little bit and just start dragging towards it.
So you are deeply fatigued, and
mhm.
so you're going to make an athletics check with disadvantage. Make you get the dice. All right. And it's going to
Damn it, I
be
wasn't prepared for this.
it's
Oh
going to
wait, maybe
be
that's my fault.
a +3 to your roll, but it's with disadvantage.
Don't you disadvantage me, sir?
I'll do what I want.
Hang on just a second. I need my specifically lucky dice. Give me a sec, please. All right, so you said disadvantage +3.
Yes.
So we are we're going with an 8.
Okay. You pulled the thin threads holding your pack up closer to you, wrapping them around your body to help pull just that extra half mile. And you're pushing, and the distance getting
And
shorter.
sorry, one thing.
Yeah.
Did you say I was aging? I'm older.
Yes, you are an older merchant. Yeah.
Okay. Come on, you heavy old bag. Only a few more paces, and maybe we'll find some help.
You pull and pull that weight, and your feet begin to slip in the sand. And once again, you find yourself collapsed face forward on this burning plate of just heat ahead of you. And as your vision begins to kind of phase and not grow dark, there's too much sun here for it to go dark, you see somebody walk up to you, and he hefts your pack with one arm, and with you, he lifts you as if you were a child. And you can see heavily muscled, like where you push on the skin and it doesn't move because there's stone beneath it. There's muscle like
Chiseled out
stone.
of granite.
Yeah, and the skin is the pale blue that happens right before a stormy sky. And you can see that there are wisps of almost like a tribal tattoo, but not a tribal tattoo, moving beneath his skin as it moves. And you can see as you're kind of looking down at the arm that's carrying you. And then you pass out. You faint. You wake up in a tent. And the wind is cooler. You're on a large rug that is clean. Probably the first clean thing you've seen in over a week. And the wind, which the only wind you have felt for a while, has been blistering and straight at you. No matter which direction you turned, it seemed to come straight at you. Here, the cool wind kind of flaps at the tent, and the tent flaps almost beat out a rhythm. Just outside, you can see shade from a handful of trees, but you can't make out what kind of trees they are from where you are laying.
I'm gonna look down at myself. Am I still completely like sand caked?
You are, but you can. So you had a cloth covering your face. It has
Oh,
been,
like a
yeah,
shaman.
it's been removed. Your hat, your like turban has been removed, and so those areas are relatively clean, but still burnt. Like you have sunburn badly across some areas, but
Yeah.
those areas are relatively clean. But you smack your lips, and they've been dry for the better part of 2 days, and that's not the case anymore. You can almost feel a dampness, as if somebody had been giving you something, water or wine.
Bro, for the rest of this session, stay the hell out of my tent. Uh, so I will. How do I feel as I get up? Is the sunburn like paralyzing, or is it like? I mean, do I actually feel a little better, or am I
So
still kind of weak?
you could tell that you were exhausted and verging on heat stroke,
Yeah.
but you had to push, right? You had to push past that, and you
Right.
found something within yourself to push past that. You're feeling your age right now, but you're not overheating. You're not bone weary as you had been. So
Okay.
you
So I
may have
feel
been
at least
sleeping here.
partially refreshed.
Yeah, you're no longer fatigued. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
You're no
All
longer
right.
fatigued.
I will stand and make my way to the opening of the tent and kind of poke my head out, and what do I see beyond just the shade in front of the tent flaps?
As you peek out, you see an odd sight. There's greenery here. The tent is on sand, but about 2 feet out from the tent on a slope downwards, there's greenery, different types of plants that have sprung up, trees that have sprung up around a pool about the size of a football field. Wrapped around this pool are animals beyond description. Some that you recognize, but the majority that you don't. Plants of so many varieties and colors that it almost makes your eyes water. The smell, though, is of growth, freshness, and sitting about 10 feet away to your right is a large man, probably 7-8 feet in height if you were standing, sitting cross-legged on a I would say rug, but it's made of, like, I'm trying to describe it. It's like bamboo, but really, really small bamboo, and it's
Like tatami?
a mat of it.
Like tatami?
I don't know what tatami is. If I did, that may
Uh,
be the descriptor I use.
tatami is like, I think it's like folded straw.
Yeah, those mats.
Yeah. I remember being in
Yes,
Japan and
like
seeing
that.
entire homes that were
Like
just
that,
floored in that.
but not woven, because that looks woven.
Yeah, they are.
It's all flat and sewn together. So they're like
Oh, okay.
straws sewn together.
Okay.
And he's sitting on it, but there's enough room for two, and you can see there is a teapot sitting in front of him, a strange brass teapot that is steaming, and he pours the liquid, a strange amber liquid, into 2 cups, and then slides 1 cup towards you. He has no beard, but he has a large mustache that dangles low with golden rings on it. He's completely bald. His ears are strange because they're pointed, but they have 2 points. One is
Okay.
pointed up, more up, at an angle, and the other one is pointed straight back. So it's almost like he has two sets of ears that are overlapping each other.
Okay.
His eyes are, while his skin is that light blue. I thought I might have a paint that's that color. But while his skin is that light blue, you see that his hair, his mustache, is a deep blue. The tattoos moving across his skin are like ink black. Black. They're not like normal tattoos that look like they're almost dark gray. These are as if someone painted black ink and it moved into under the skin and started moving.
Okay.
And he's wearing a pair of harem pants that have very intricate embroidered designs on them that also seem to be moving. If it's a
So-
language, you're not sure what the language is.
So I do want to roll it back just a little bit to
Yep.
where you were describing what I was seeing, and I'm taking the character as kind of awestruck. And as he walks out, you know, kind of before the guy pushes the person there pushes the tea to him, I'm like, in all my years, I've just never seen a place like this. Hello. Thank you. And I'll kind of move over towards him and sit down and pick up the teacup.
As you kind of bring the teacup to your face to smell it, it's some kind of saffron tea. It is deep in flavors and evokes memories from a time long past. Sorry, 1 second. From your childhood. That your grandmother used to make a tea like this for special occasions. And as you taste it, you haven't had that tea in probably 50 years, 60 years, and it brings you right back.
Well,
Hey
I
Tyler, welcome.
suppose I'm here for a reason, but this tea just brings me back to one question from my childhood. What's the occasion, mister?
Well, Gaunt, if I'm correct, I think that we can help each other. His lips, as he's speaking, the language he's speaking, you don't understand, but you understand what he's saying.
In my head, I just kind of get it.
It's almost like you are hearing audio dubbed over an ancient Arabic language, and the audio you're hearing dubbed over that is a type of common that you recognize.
Okay.
So you're hearing both. Like he's speaking both. And you're actually
Okay.
hearing it. He's not talking into your mind.
Okay. And what is it that an old man in over his head can offer to someone young and spry like you?
Well, I'm hoping freedom. And he pours more tea into your cup and says, I can offer you power, wealth. I can offer you your youth back. But I need you to get me out of here.
So, Not to state the obvious, but I barely made it in here. How would you have me get you out?
Well, the powers I grant you will help with that. But, I can't leave here under my own power. I've been imprisoned here far too long.
What is the state of the oasis we're sitting in? Does it look, aside from the unique animals, does it look what I would consider normal for an aging man?
You, in all the times you traveled this desert, you have, do I even have the name of this desert? I'll bet you I do, because I have 16 pages. I should have highlighted it or something.
How very dare your minutiae not be prepared for the
Azanth.
campaign, sir.
Azanth. As you traveled through the desert of Azanth, mostly the southern desert, you have never come across an oasis like this, and most of them already have a town growing up around them. As a matter of fact, and this is the merchant side of you, the side that was more than happy to do morally questionable things in your youth to gain the notoriety you have. This oasis could grant you several boons and give you the kingdom you've dreamed about for a long time, if you were only able to tame it.
What would you ask of an old man?
There was a set of stones that you passed, probably a day's ride to the south. I need you to carry me past those stones.
You need me to carry you.
Yes.
With respect, you did see out there that my bag was practically carrying me.
Yes, I understand that. What I'm saying is, I will grant you these powers, the powers to make the changes that you so desperately want, before you carry me out of this thrice damned prison. And he looks around, as if he's not seeing the oasis you're seeing.
Well, seeing as most of the things in my pack are sand whipped and caked up with the gods knows what, I suppose that you never bite a hand that's offering help. So, do what it is you would, and I suppose another lifetime would not be unwelcome, given the chance to do some things again with the knowledge I have now.
He stands and towers over you and offers a hand to help you up.
I'll take it.
And then, with a different motion, he offers his hand to you, and you recognize the body language difference, right? He was giving you a friendly hands up before. This is a do we have a deal handshake.
I'll I'll muster what I can and straighten my back and shake his hand.
As you reach out and grasp this large hand, several things happen at once. The dark, black, moving, swirling tattoos move from his skin and dig into the skin of your palm before moving and wrapping themselves around your arm. It's painful, very painful, and if it weren't for his hand holding you up, you'd probably collapse. Um, Secondly, you feel that not just the tattoos, but part of his strength enters you, and you can feel your body kind of rejecting the age that has been set upon you. Your skin grows taut and firm beneath new muscles, and you can hear what sounds like stones being dropped down a stairwell before you realize that's your vertebrae and bones popping back into places where they should be. You get
This is the most bizarre chiropractic appointment I've ever been to.
you get a feeling of just elation as you feel this energy that has been lost to you for decades swell over you. And as you look up, because you're in awe at your own form, you look over at the man still holding your hand, and he has become as frail as you once were. As that process continues, you see that he's almost shrinking to just be the bones, and then he's gone. And you can kind of feel him still as if you were carrying him as a backpack, like draped over your shoulders, but
Mhm.
inside your soul. So, like, you can feel him and he is weighing you down, but not physically weighing you down. And with the powers you now possess, it's barely anything. And you realize he was true. He was honest with you. He gave you the power to alter reality as you saw fit, to do the things you only dreamed of before. And as he is sitting on your ka, on your essence, as he's perched there, he realizes the man he just asked for help and the type of person you were. The cutthroat, hungry, ambitious person that has been held away by age, that has been in the prison of your own making for eons. Well, not eons, but decades. More than 50 years. And a grin spreads across your face as your eyes turn solid red, the red of unspent energy, of dark, mystical prowess. And we zoom out as the desert moves in around this oasis, and sand disperses, and the oasis and you, Gaunt, are gone. We're going to cut to Naomi.
Hey.
You are in the town of Sandsworn. It is a small farming community outside of Azant, to the west of Azant. Azant is this huge desert. Your family, or specifically, are wheat farmers, and you're part of a large kind of commune of a couple different towns in this area of plains. There's this area of plains that does mostly wheat. You guys do some vegetables, but it's mostly wheat. And then there's a mountain range, and then there's the large Azanth Desert. And to the north of the Azanth Desert, there's a big road that has been cut through the dunes over time to the city of Thurnen. Everyone knows, I mean, you're still kind of young, but everyone knows that the city of Thurnen, it was 5 oases that had small towns, and as those towns grew, they became this huge city that essentially runs the kingdom of Manon, which includes your small commune and a couple other small communes around the desert.
Mhm.
Life is good. You know your parents, Mirth and Jaina. They are both human. you are not. You are a blessing, one of the few blessings that has happened to this commune and other communes like it, where a mageborn has been born. Mageborn are what your communities call anyone who has blood that has been touched by magic. And that's how they see you. You are a tiefling, correct?
Yes.
So tieflings, Aasimars, some of the other kind of hybrid species, this culture believes were touched by magic, and so you're mageborn. And your parents feel super lucky and blessed to be able to raise a mageborn and have done good by you. They have been strict at times because you can be a hellraiser sometimes, but overall, you're happy and they're happy, and you currently find yourself at the end of, I'm gonna loosely call it a school day. It is an open area that's often used for big meals with the community and plays and that kind of stuff. But for a section of the day, it is used for teaching. And you and several human children are all sitting in a circle, while while an aged half-orc is explaining history and math and a couple other subjects, and also teaching you guys some of the other languages. Not all at once, that would be confusing, but like those are the curriculums that you had been going over for time.
How old am I?
You are about 5, maybe 6.
Okay.
Who is your best friend?
Oh my. Okay, John, I guess. Just taking requests from the audience. That was Malcolm.
John, as the day closes,
Love you too, buddy.
John steals your small bag. It had your lunch in it, but lunch has already been eaten, and takes off. Or he's at a full run out into the wheat.
Let me chase him.
Give me a athletics check.
Okay. Oh, it's gonna be funny. Oh, it's gonna be funny. 9.
As you run full force, like you are running as fast as your little legs can carry you, you hit the wheat at a dead run and bounce off of it.
Yeah, that sounds.
Butt planted in the dirt. Psh, psh, psh.
Yeah.
And you hear giggling from both John in the wheat and also some of the other children that had taken up the chase with you.
Wait, like, I just tripped over something normally, right? Cause
No, like you hit. So corn, when you're running through corn, you have to be careful how you run through corn.
oh my gosh, I smacked my face right
You
into
smacked
it.
directly into the wall of wheat and then
Yeah,
bounced
sounds
off.
about right. I get back up and try to make my way through. Nemo, you are not being starved to death, buddy.
As you make your way through and chase your friends chase you. It starts to get dark as you guys are playing out in the wheat, and you make your way home. You see that while not uncommon, your parents like to have people over. There is a small cart, a nice cart, sitting outside your medium-sized home. The lights are all up normally, like because knowing that you're not big on bright lights at night.
Mm-hmm. I'm still eating. No.
It is strange to be this bright at your house
Okay.
because it is starting to get dark.
Is there anyone at the cart?
As you kind of peek around, you see that there is somebody. The cart itself has a strange looking reptile bird thing that would normally be pulling the cart is kind of still strapped in. It looks like a cross between a chicken and a raptor. And there is a guy sitting up at. So I said cart. What I mean is carriage. And there's a guy sitting up on like the driver's seat, but he seems to be. If he's not asleep, he's pretending.
Okay, so he wouldn't necessarily see me. Like, should I sneak up and look at the cool, weird rooster lizard?
Are you
chicken?
trying to be sneaky?
Yeah,
Then give me a stealth check.
because I'm not going straight inside because it's too bright in there.
Yeah, give me a stealth check.
Okay. I'm as stealthy as a 5-year-old. I got a. Oh shit.
Family show.
I got a 4. Sorry.
Actually, it's not a family show.
Haha.
Okay, you got a 4.
Yeah.
As
I'm as
you
stealthy as a 5-year-old.
as you attempt to deftly maneuver into view of this large reptilian bird, it goes crazy. You startled it, and it shrieks and jumps, and the driver, who was asleep, falls out of the seat, and he hits the bird, and then hits the ground, and you can hear him cursing as he's standing up, but he's speaking a strange accented common. You've only heard it a couple times when merchants come through to sell or take wheat into the main city. And he looks around at what could have caused the bird to flip out. And he peeks over and sees you, tiny little tiefling standing opposite with your hands up in the air. Or what does he see?
Oh, so when I see him peek over, he sees, a little tiefling, pop up and then run in. I'm guessing the houses have like more like open windows and not actually like glass or anything on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop up, run, and try to scramble into my window because I'll be totally gonna be plagued in this. Cool. I didn't do anything. That he was imagining it.
So describe yourself, though. What?
Oh, okay. So, I'm not sure what tiefling kids look like. Are they more of a fawn?
That's up to you. It's up to you on how you want to
But I'm
present
dressed.
when you get over.
So,
What color's your skin? What color's your hair? What kind of hair? Horns,
So-
tail?
the horns are still kind of a little small. They're not like grown in fully, and the tail's more like probably like a goat tail. Colors are like sandy blonde and very deserty color. Like it's sandy blonde and brown, kind of just. You're not sure if I'm covered in sand and dirt or if I'm just that color. And then for skin tone's perpetually sunburnt. So pale naturally, but always outside and
Do you
hidden.
look perpetually sunburnt, or are you perpetually sunburnt?
Yes.
Okay. And you, he starts off by shouting, and then seeing you disappear and clamber through the window, which, based on your rolls so far, I'm gonna say that you jumped through the window and
it's
clattered into a bunch of stuff that you had sitting inside your window. You hear him laugh as he climbs back up onto the carriage.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna be like, play it cool. They won't know it's me. I'm gonna go pretend I'm in bed the whole time.
As you go and carefully, you look around and you carefully climb into bed. Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
I think my rolls are accurate for a 5-year-old.
Let's hope that it changes when you grow up.
Subclass
Gosh, let's hope.
acquired.
8.
I didn't tell you guys that she's going to be playing a 5-year-old in the campaign. It's going to be great.
Oh God, no.
So you said you got an 8?
Yes.
You dust yourself off, and you quietly climb into bed so that everybody thinks that you're in bed. And as you are quietly kind of closing your eyes and pulling this, it's a stuffed animal, but its shape was lost a long time ago, so it's kind of like a misshapen cloud with
Lump.
legs sticking out at different angles. You pull it to yourself, and you start to close your eyes, and you see that your father has been watching you the entire time, standing in the doorway. And he says, "What are you doing?"
Sleeping?
Ah, yes, yes. Um, you are going to help paddle out those blankets tomorrow, yes?
Yes.
And he walks over and shakes his head as he looks at the shoes that you took off, some of the only clothing that you took off, sitting just inside the window amongst a whole clattering of stuff still laying on the floor now that you knocked over. And there's just dirt everywhere. Everywhere. And there's a space. I say dirt everywhere, but there's like a space 5 feet from the window and then out through the rest of the room that is clean. Like your room was just cleaned before you just made a gigantic mess again. He
Yeah,
says,
sounds alright.
we have news for you. Please. And says he's indicating that you should come with him.
Okay, I will brush off a little bit, probably get the rest of the bedroom at sea, and then follow.
Yeah, he's helping you brush off, and then he removes a bun. It's a small, like clay baked bun from his pocket and hands it to you.
Oh yeah, I'm gobbling that down.
It's like a sweet loaf.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as you walk into the main living area, you know your room is, or the house is built kind of like a bubble or a half dome with two small bubbles off to the side. One smaller bubble is yours. Your parents have a bubble on the other side of the main bubble. And the main bubble is a living room, kitchen, pretty much everything else that you would find in the house. And you can see that the near perpetual workshop area that is almost always askew with things that your father is working on for the farm, whether it's tack for the horses or whatever, right? There's always pieces of it in this area. All of that has been pushed out, and you can only assume it's been pushed outside. But the whole house has been made really tidy. Sitting at the table, which normally only has 3 chairs, are 2 men you don't recognize. And a small herringon woman, it's a rabbit woman, that is short and very fluffy, and you can see that her colors are almost almost like yours. It's like a sand-colored fur.
Yeah, like jackrabbit colors. That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
but the edges of some of the areas of those fur spots have started to turn gray. So she's getting that gray coloring that
Winter coat.
older animal people get.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2 men seem to be waiting for responses from her, as if she's the more important of the 3. Your mother is pouring tea, and when she sees you, she smiles and shakes her head because she was hoping you were going to get back in time to clean up before this meeting, and that did not happen. But that is very much you. And she says, yes. And she looks at your father and says, sleeping? And he chuckles to himself and says, yep, sleeping. The woman, the Herringon woman, she says, you must be Prudence, yes?
I'll look at both of my parents before answering.
And they nod. You can see your father has walked over and he's standing behind your mother, kind of resting his hands on her shoulders and scratching her back. and the two men look almost nervous, but not not wary. You're picking up a lot of strange body. Um,
Yeah, it's weird.
yeah,
The room feels weird.
the room feels weird. And she says, "It's okay. Come here." And she indicates to one of the seats that one of the men is standing in or sitting in, and he gets up quickly and moves to stand behind her.
I'll follow very meekly to where she is asking me to go.
Okay. She has you sit down in one of the chairs. You can see that the table usually has 3 chairs, and there
Mhm.
are four chairs now. Um, it looks like one of the chairs was hastily put together as if it were like borrowed from the community and brought over. Um, she says, um, "My name is Alicent.
Okay.
Um, your parents told me that they talked to you about their want to maybe try and get you a better seat in life. Do you remember them talking about you maybe going to learn in Thurnen?
Yes.
There are thousands of children every year that want to be a part of the bigger picture, and very few, less than 20, are chosen. And we came to tell you that you are part of that 20.
Uh, I don't really have words, so she like I'll
Yeah,
just
because you're
like kind of
6. Yeah.
like and like just be like okay, and just nodding and looking at my parents like, is this okay?
They both have huge grins on their faces.
Okay.
And they say, she says, what this means for you right now is keep studying. They tell me you're doing very, very good, very well with learning your languages and your histories. Continue
You.
your study, and in a couple of years, we're going to come back and make sure that this is still a good fit, and then we will bring you with us to the city. Um, and she smiles, a strange rabbit smile, and your parents are smiling too, and she says, I wanted to be the one to tell you this myself because it is going to be a scary time for you. You're going to essentially be leaving everything you've known here for your entire life to have the chance to have better access to a different type of life. Um, Give me an intelligence check.
Okay, I'm not rolling in that thing anymore. Okay, maybe not here either. Ugh. Hold on. Oh, wait, up there. Damn it. Darn it. 5. I don't like these dice.
You can tell that she said something and caught herself, and you can tell that the energy in the room changed for just a little bit, because your parents definitely caught it, but she continues on, and things kind of smooth out. And she says, I'm happy to be able to offer you these opportunities. Um, what it will mean is you will be paired with one of the Sand Council's children, and you will learn as they do. You'll be part of the same events they're a part of, and you'll be learning how all of this life works. So we'll be back in a couple of years, and we'll see if this is still something that you're interested in. and she
Thank you.
pats you on the head, and for a moment, her hand lingers over one of your horns, and like I'm trying to. You know how like sometimes
It gets
with
weird.
little kids, you like scruff their hair, but then you like pull their hair a little bit,
Yeah. Okay.
like you're playing with them,
Yeah, like
but
she playing with my horn.
kind of, yeah.
A little too familiar, or just like kind of like, okay,
It's
I
probably
don't
more
fucking care.
familiar than you're used to with a stranger, but you're the only tiefling in this community, so people fussing
Yeah,
about
people
your
are to
yeah
touch my horns all the time.
yeah.
Okay. This whole night, I'm just
It's
eyeing dinner
it's
at
very
this
surreal. It's
point.
very surreal for a hungry, dirty 6-year-old. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, okay, cool, or
Uh,
whatever form of that is, and just like staring down. Like I've lost the attention span, and it is staring at food, and I'm just agreeing with them at this point.
they the woman stands up, and you can see that you're 6. She's only probably 6 inches taller than you, and then has like 2 feet of ears.
Okay, but that's like giant because I've probably seen rabbits, but I don't think I've met.
No, you've never seen a heron gun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
So
I'm behaving and not trying to pet her because she talked to me. Because that's I learned you don't pet people that talk to you.
I guess that's a. Are you trying to say you pet people that don't talk to you?
No, they're not like animals. If they look like animals, but they're talking, you should probably try not pet them.
Yeah, that's true. So she gets up. The guys follow her outside. Your parents follow her outside, and you can tell there's a lot of excited talking back and forth as they're making their way outside, and they're getting everything ready to go. You can hear the carriage take off. There's a loud squawking kind of shriek as the bird lizard thing pulls the cart down the road. And as your parents come back in, they are ecstatic. Your father picks you up and throws you in the air, and you guys are kind of laughing, and your mother serves you an extra big helping. And you guys have a wonderful night reveling in this new information. Um, some time passes, and you almost forget about this one night that happened years ago because you were hungry, you were a 6-year-old, and they were strange. But it almost has become like a strange, dreamlike situation.
But I imagine my parents were a bit more ambitious on me after that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your parents, they checked on you a lot more. And
I'm
you
sure I was doing my
noticed
schoolwork and I had to read a lot more.
you definitely noticed that the teacher who had been teaching everybody the same apparently after that night started giving you more assignments. Not
Rude.
not not too much, but a lot more than what you had been doing.
Yeah, probably oscillating between, oh, this is so cool, and this is boring. Why do they have to give me all the work? You know, kid stuff.
Yeah. And time passes, seasons pass. You go from being a kind of short, young 6-year-old to a 10-year-old, 11-year-old.
Gangly.
That is. How tall are you at 11?
Tieflings are normal people size?
Usually, yeah. They don't have to be, but usually.
No, yeah, I mean, so, like, I'll just do so 5, 6, or 7. Like, just probably all knees and elbows and hooves at this point.
But tall.
But tall, yeah.
Okay. You are a tall,
Gangly, perpetually
gangly
sunburned.
tiefling. Your horns have come in a lot more. What do they look like?
Okay, so I did not get images, but you saw the carnival robe.
Mm-hmm.
and that puck, and kind of how it almost like it curls into like against her head.
Is that the type of tiefling you are?
Yeah.
Okay, so your tail is still like a goat tail.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. That's neat. And different. Okay. So you are tall, gangly. The tops of windows and doors in your community have grooves that have been cut into them from you accidentally hitting them. Just because
Accidentally, I headbutt everything.
even at that height, you're taller than many of the people in your community. You didn't notice that when you were little, but as you got older, you realized that you grew up around and with people that usually top out at like 5'6".
Okay. Yeah. I just figured it was the Who's.
And while you are tall and gangly, you also have helped out a lot with the
Farmer.
harvest
Yeah.
and stuff like that, harvest and planting. But you have found that in your heart, some of the things that you've loved the most are songs, stories. You've kind of collected some of these from the community that kind of drive with you. They mean a lot to you, and you've really picked up on those. And it's a fateful day just after harvest, when a familiar sight comes crawling up the road. It is a carriage, this time pulled by two of the large, squawking beasts,
Murder
their
chickens.
feet stamping in the dirt. These look like they're tired and covered in dust. Covered. You don't remember the one from your childhood being this dirty, but the carriage itself also covered in dust. It is that time of harvest where dust is in the air, so that could explain it. But as the carriage pulls up, give me a perception check. Don't roll like a 5-year-old.
God, I hope so. Don't say stuff like that. We know we're gonna curse it. I need a better. Oh hush. 12.
You see that there are arrows sticking out from the back of the carriage. And there are like blade cuts in one of the wheels, but the wheel still functions. It's just there's cuts in it, as if something was trying to attack the carriage as it was moving. And as it pulls up, the rider almost collapses off of the rider's bench seat up top in the front, and managed to catch himself on the back of one of the large beasts.
I'll go help him. I mean, I vaguely remember any of this stuff or why I remember it. So I see some guy in a dirty cart who's getting arrows shot at him. So you help. Have my parents been acting weird?
No, they've been getting a little bit more anxious maybe as this time came, like almost like they knew and they told you that it was going to be
I was
soon.
gonna say, have
Yeah.
they been at least warning me that I'm gonna potentially be leaving my
Yeah,
home
they didn't
soon?
have like a date, but they said it was going to be soon, as if maybe they were sent a letter a little bit ago saying this between here and here.
Okay, I mean, it could even been like, yeah, arranged in the beginning. But so I know it's coming, so I'm pretty sure my gut is like has a weird feeling to it, but I kind of brush it off and just help him up.
Okay. As you go to kind of catch him, you see that he and you are about a height, like you're about the same height, but he's well muscled and heavy, and trying to catch him as he falls over almost ends up with both of you on the ground, but you're able to kind of push him up against the carriage enough that he's not like collapsing on you, and you can see that his upper chest is soaked down to his pants with deep red. And he says, "Help her." And then his weight becomes too much, and he leans over towards you and, I'm assuming, falls past you.
Okay, well, I'll try to help him not fall like flat on the floor. But
Okay, you
like,
try
and
to
then
help him not
like
collapse.
he's gonna, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing I'm on my own at this point. Because you said I was walking.
You made it back to. I'm assuming you like ran. Seeing this coach, you ran back to the house.
Yeah,
And then he
okay.
pulled up in front of the house, and fell off.
So I'll call for my parents and then go look at what they meant by her.
As you shout, you see that your father comes out, and he's got his big leather apron on that he uses when he works on stuff. And your mother comes out; she's drying her hands, and they're in shock. They didn't hear it come up. They didn't hear what's happening. Your father immediately runs to the guy on the ground, and as you peek in the window, you can see there is a young woman, maybe 20s, with tan skin, beautiful dark blue, a beautiful dark blue dress, a shawl wrapped around her. You don't see blood, and she seems to be breathing, but she is not. She's just kind of laying across the seat, like you would. You know how like there's the art you see of women on a fainting couch that looks almost over dramatic.
Oh,
That's what she looks like, sprawled across the seat in this carriage.
okay. Does she look like she's being over dramatic or in actual distress?
It's difficult to tell. Looking through the open window, um, it's difficult to tell. Your mom
Okay,
walks up
there
behind
has to be
you.
a door.
Huh?
Is there a door? Like I
Yeah.
can open a
Yeah.
door. Like I'll open it up and be like,
Your mom comes over with
"Sir?"
you, and you open the door, and you can see that it is a carriage like this, where there's people that sit on this side and there's people that sit on this side.
Mm.
There's doors on either side of the carriage, and then there's a bench seat up front on the top, near the top where the driver would sit.
Mm-hmm.
She is sprawled across one of the benches, one arm across her face, and the other arm laying close to the ground. As you open the door, she does not stir.
Um, I'll try to like shake her a little bit, wake her up.
As are you're getting in, or are you kind of just poking
Yeah,
her?
I'm getting in now. I do have the hooves too, so they're probably a little klutzy trying to get into a carriage for people feet. But
You're able to kind of climb up in. That's fine. And you're just shaking her?
yeah, I'm like, you okay? I don't have people skills.
She, as you kind of shake her and say, "Are you okay?" She,
Oh my
and then
gosh.
she lets out a over dramatic, blood curdling scream. And that kind of the shock pushes you back into a seat. It's not like she has some power that pushes you back in your seat, but like you're like, ugh, and you fall back into the bench opposite. And she says, Take whatever you want. Just leave me."
I'm not allowed to headbutt strangers, so I will leave you.
As you are now sitting across from her and she is sitting up, you can see that what you had thought was maybe a woman in her 20s is maybe a 12-year-old that has a a lot of makeup, and a lot of makeup that has been well put on. But she has a dress that these robes are very extravagant, very expensive dress. She's got a shawl that has very intricate beadwork.
There's no blood?
No blood. No. I mean, looking at her hands, they're smooth and soft. She doesn't have any injuries at all. No bruises. Nothing. You have bruises from everything. You have
Yeah.
some scars because you grew up on a farm. This
Oh,
young
that's
woman
weird.
has nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, she's fine. I'm gonna clamber out and see if that. Make sure, like, is that the she? Like,
Oh, he's out.
uh,
Your
are
father
there
is.
more people?
Your
I'll
father
start
has.
looking around for more people that might be in distress somewhere in this carriage because that person is not in distress.
You called. You heard your father calling out for like the local doctor.
Okay.
Because he's holding this poor man's chest, and that guy is out. As you kind of look around the cabin, she has begun sobbing heavily from the ordeal, and you can hear her between sobs say, I knew I shouldn't have left. They told me the robbers would get me. I shouldn't have left." And you're looking at the cart, and it looks like a very expensive carriage.
And be like, is there an injured person here? Like, is there someone in trouble here?
Are you saying that?
Yeah.
She says, "I'm in trouble."
Okay, what did you do?
Just
Because they in trouble because you did something wrong, right? Did you stab him? Is that why you're in trouble?
no,
'Cause
your
Is that a bad, it's a
your
bad
people
idea.
did. Your people stabbed him.
Nah, my dad and mom have been here this whole time. I don't think they could have stabbed him. Like, he came in stabbed. Did you?
The sobbing stops immediately, like light switch immediately.
Oh, well, look at that.
And she says, "Wait, what's your name?"
Are we telling names to strangers kind of people?
That's up to you.
Yeah. Prudence.
Oh my goodness. I'm Marcella. We're gonna be the best friends ever. And she puts her hand out. In like the royal way. Not like to shake your hand.
Hee. My hands, you know, are dirty.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Probably smell some blood and be like, grab the hand and be shake. Just like, no.
Her eyes go wide and she looks down at her it was a bare hand. She looks down at her bare hand and the filth that now covers this hand and goes, "Charmed, I'm sure."
Me too. I'm sure you are.
We were beset by raiders.
Okay, but you're okay, right? Like,
No,
there's no
no,
injuries?
I'm
No.
not all right. I've had an awful fright.
I got something for you. And like come into the house. And like ask my mom for that tea she would give me to calm me down and make me take naps. It'll help calm your nerves.
As you help her down, as you get out of the carriage, she stands at the top of the carriage, like at the top of the steps, waiting for you to help her down out of the carriage.
I'm just gonna keep looking at it like it's. You okay?
Yes? And she's still standing there. And then she looks over and sees the man on the ground and your father who's trying to keep his blood inside him. And she goes,
Yep.
"Oh, Roger. Oh, no." And she hops down out of the carriage.
Oh, look, she can do that.
Yeah, and she rushes over to his side, but you can tell that she is getting in the way of your father trying to do what your father's trying to do. You see the doctor, a fairly young, he's a fairly young replacement for the older doctor. He's the younger son. It was Dr. Wood, and they're all named after different types of wood. The young doctor that's coming up right now, he is Dr. Hollywood. Dr. Hollywood. And he's rushing up, and you can see that he has his bag with him, and he immediately starts trying to help Roger on the ground. And Marcella is again starting to freak out a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm assuming I know this doctor well enough that he's come through. We know his bag and usually kind of like the stuff he has in it.
Yeah.
So he probably has something like something to help with sleep in there.
Maybe, but
And they're very distracted. I can grab a bottle and assume I know what it is.
go ahead and roll me a medicine check.
Oh no, this is gonna go bad.
This is the one nat 20 she rolls all night.
Or the one she rolls all night.
Oh, it wouldn't be the first one. That would be 10.
You see several vials of stuff in his cart or in his bag, and you might be able to nick one, but you're not sure what half of them are, and you definitely aren't sure which one might help her calm down. You do know that the tea works because your mom used to use it all the time with you and with your father.
She's a little nervous. So I was considering, yeah, because I don't want to take something that a guy needs, and then I'll be like, here, let me get you something to help you feel better, calm your nerves, and let me make you some tea and get you cleaned up. Because I can see that the doctor and everything's getting so I'll get her settled in, and because I'm well aware I'm gonna have to be nice to people, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So I will do my best to show hospitality the way my mom and dad taught me how to. So I'll make her the tea that I just want to calm her nerves. And who knows what her constitution is? She might just need a double dose. I guess that's all. I'm not a doctor, obviously.
Okay. You make the tea. You said you might. Are you gonna double dose it?
1.5.
Okay. As you make the tea and you set it in front of her, she's looking
Really
around.
upset.
As you're making the tea, she's looking around your house. What small areas there are, and she's picking things up and looking at them and then setting them down, and she'll move to a different part of the house and she'll look something. But she hasn't made any comments. She hasn't looked at anything disdainfully.
She hasn't made any face. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was like, she hasn't made any faces.
It's more
So I was like,
it's more like she's interesting and she's trying to, or she's interested and trying
she's
to learn
curious.
about you.
Okay.
Yeah. And you, as you get done with the tea and she comes over to the table, she sits down and says, "This is quaint."
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Is this where your horses live?
Am I still making the tea?
No. This is as you were pouring the tea out. And she's looking
Actually,
specifically.
to be perfectly honest, I'm just gonna look at her very confused, like
she
can't be that bright. There's a kitchen in front.
When she asks,
are there kitchens?
When she asks the question, you can tell she's legitimately like curious if that's the case. But she's mostly pointing, like she's indicating mostly to your father's workshop area of this large living room, because there's a lot of horse bridles, saddles. There's a lot of stuff he's working on for the animals. So as you look around, you're like, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's just where my dad works on stuff for the horses. So then we live in here.
She blows on the tea and drinks it quickly, and um, as you hear things going on in the outside, and you kind of peek out the window, you can see that it was a small wound that they have gotten bandaged up, and they're actually starting to wake Roger up, the
Mhm.
driver up. As you look back at the table, she's out. Like, not beautiful, dainty out, not, oh, I'm Sleeping Beauty, this is how how
Face
Prince is gonna
on
find me.
table drooling.
Yeah, her face is flat on the table. There's the dish you put the teacup on is like sitting out at an angle underneath her face. The teacup is rolling a little bit away, but it's a big enough table that it's not like gonna fall off. And there's just a puddle of tea and drool that is sticking her face to the table.
So, upon realizing my dosage may have been a little stronger than I probably should have, and she's probably never had that before. I will drag her to a couch or my bed, whichever is more possible, and be like, oh, and then clean up the tea mess because they'll know.
Give me an athletics check.
Oh gosh. I need my dice tower. Oh no. I got a 1 and I have a -1 in athletics.
As you go to get her up from the table, there's a loud smack because you grabbed her foot first, which pulled her off the table and her head hits the floor behind the table. And then instead of deciding that I should probably change what I'm doing, you just drag her across the floor from her foot and apologize several times as anytime you turn a corner or move past something, a bit of her hits something else. By the time you get her back to the couch area, you can see there's a section of floor that is obvious that someone was dragged. There's like items that are tipped over. Part of her dress.
Can I just take a moment here to say that it is extremely clear to me that both of you are parents.
Yes. We've never seen kids try to cover stuff up. Nope.
This is the absolute best. Like, please, like, continue. It's amazing.
Give me a let's go wisdom. Let's go wisdom. A wisdom check. This is for etiquette.
Okay. Hold on. That would be another 10.
So she is your age, which means she's probably just as lanky and elbows and knees as you are, and probably not heavy. She also probably doesn't have the muscle on her that you do, even though it's a -1. Because she doesn't do that kind of work. And so as you drug her across the floor, smashing her into nearly everything that was within reach, you're not even sure how you did that. You get her pushed up onto the 2-seater chair. That's about as close as a couch as you guys have, is a 2-seater chair. You kind of get her levered up there. I had mentioned earlier she doesn't have any bruises or cuts or anything. What I meant was she didn't have any bruises or cuts or anything.
Oh, she totally did.
There's a
She
large
had a
bruise
rough
now.
ride.
There's a large bruise now on her right temple. You can see darkening underneath her eye. That will probably end up being a black eye. She has scrapes up her legs from where you were dragging her across the floor. But when you get her propped back up, you're able to pull her dress back into place and kind of push that hair there.
Maybe wipe the face off a little bit
Yeah.
with her dress.
Yeah. It's not perfect, but it may be passable.
She had a rough ride, and then she got her set up, and then I'm going to try to clean up the tea, and then sweep or something so that I could. I'm trying to do my best to remove the evidence.
Okay. You clean up the tea and you put the teacups back and you give them a good wash. And you sweep up the floor to where and start setting things back up. And that's when your mother comes back inside and she says, "Oh, that fright must have really taken it out of her."
I think she had a much rougher ride than we originally thought. Like, there's some bruising. I'm sure she hit her head in there or something.
Really?
There's,
I thought she
yeah.
really got out of it unscathed.
She was just putting on a brave face.
Give me a deception
makeup.
check.
Gosh, I need new dice, Daniel.
We can fix that.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me see what my.
You should have a bigger bonus with deception, I think.
Holy shit. That would put me at 23.
Jeez Louise. Oh, that poor thing. And she goes over and she gets a wet rag and she starts to like wipe off the
I am
girl's
so
face.
sad. She just looks so. Yeah, I think that she was trying to show a brave face, but once we were away, she just collapsed. And those bruises, those
Give
recently
me
started
another
developing.
wisdom check.
That would be a 6.
As she is cleaning up and putting things back, she takes the tin of sleepy time tea that you left on the counter and she looks back at you and shakes her head as she puts it back in the cabinet.
She was very nervous. Very nervous. That's all. She's gonna be okay, right?
Do you know who this girl is?
I know she told me her name.
This
Jane? That sounds right. As what's her name? She seems
her name is Marcella.
Marcella. Marcella.
Yeah, and she is supposed to be the girl that you're going to be learning with. It'd probably be a good idea if she didn't find out that you just poisoned her.
I did not poison her. It was for her nerves.
She walks over and lifts the girl's arm and drops it, and it drops dead weight. Just
She's just very tired. That's a dad does that. That's a dad dose, but math is hard. She was tired from the trip.
I'm sure she was. That's the story we'll go with. Yep.
Thank you, cause how much of that is she gonna remember?
I'm not sure. And she's as she is talking to you, your mom is like moving things that you had moved, and she's moving them back into place
to where they're
supposed to be. And she grabs a fairly large, comfortable blanket out of your room and pulls it over her, and says, "Well, there's nothing for that. I guess we should have dinner." And so she starts making a stew that is a celebratory stew that you guys usually have. And she makes extra servings. You can tell she's making larger servings. And says, "Do you remember how we talked to you about things you needed to pack when the day came?"
Yes.
The day has come, sweetie.
Okay. Do I have to go pack now, or can I eat first?
This won't be done for a little bit.
Oh, okay. I'll go. I'll go into my room and start packing.
What are your 3 most important items that you're making sure to pack?
Okay, so other than like necessity, like the clothes, my mom's already probably picked out for me.
Obviously, clothes are going to be a big thing. Obviously, maybe some blankets and stuff that will remind you of home.
So like, yeah, not the so the lumpy space princess toy.
Okay. The toy that has been lumped so many times that it's hard to tell what it is, yeah.
Yeah, is Lump. His name is Lump. So Lump, and then a I'm torn between a history book and a storybook,
Okay.
and literally torn between a history book and a storybook. That's what she's doing. She's just like, because they're her favorites. And then so I'm gonna end up with the history book, and then I don't. Do they have pictures?
Maybe like sketches, yeah.
So a picture of my family, like some sketches I did of my parents before, like when I was learning to, like in school, I was drawing or sketching and stuff. I made sketches of my parents to take with me.
Okay. Knowing that this day would come.
Yeah, so like it's like a not a scroll show, but like it's a bunch of like a bundle of pictures of her home and her family and the things that she remembered. Like they're the closest thing she has to like a scrapbook of her little sketches of everything.
Okay. Cool. The stew is done. They're able to, the doctor and your father are able to kind of half carry, half I'm carry the injured driver into the house, and he says he just needs some good sleep. He'll be fine tomorrow.
Does
And
he want some tea?
huh?
Does you want to eat tea?
Your mother gives you a look. And they put him kind of on this hastily made cot back in the corner of your father's workshop. And Rogers is out, so he whether it's the pain or something the doctor gave him, he's out. Just before stew is ready, your house smells like this wonderful curry stew mixture, and that smell is enough to kind of wake up Marcella, who at first is groggy, understandably, and confused as to where she is. But then she sees the warm glow of the fire, the candles, the smells of this food, and you can see that she's kind of a little bit more awake and aware. And she says, "Oh man, why am ow?" And she puts her hand up to her head, and she presses gently on the large bruise that's there now, and says, "Oh, what happened?"
You tripped when we were coming in here. I think that you're just so exhausted from your very exciting travels, the dangerous ones. And you basically passed out right there. I had to pick you up off the floor. You hit your head.
She doesn't even seem to doubt what you're saying, and says, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry you had to carry me over here." And she
Um,
works to get herself up out of the chair, which is like a deep cushion chair, so it's hard for her to push herself out. But
I'll
she
go help her up. Like I'm gonna be like, it's okay, you can. Like super freaking nice. Like, my mom keeps giving me that side eye.
as you get closer, you see that her skin, the skin that's showing, is like bruise central now. She has a black eye. She has a bunch of small bruising from like just things that she
I'm gonna
bumped
get
and
you I'm gonna get you like something to put on that, and I'll get you a
yeah.
cloth.
It
Yeah.
this is more than traditional bruising. Like it may be that she's never really had bruises, and that's why so many are showing up. But
It's okay, it's a little
you sit her down at the table, and immediately she almost dives face first in a good way into
Okay, I was like, oh gosh, is there a
into the
second side
curry.
effect?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she demolishes the curry. And we kind of zoom out through a window of you guys laughing and finding common ground in your mother's cooking as we zoom out. We zoom out over out of your town of Sandsworn, across the vast Azant Desert, and then we come to the city. It is a large Persian city. That style with the sandstone and painted huge towers. There's a lot of people. It is a very large city. Where your town was probably 200 people, your community was probably 800 people, like that commune, the commune of farmers. This is probably like 600,000 people
Okay.
in a huge city that has 5 oases. Oasis? Oases.
Oasis.
Oases, I think.
Oases. 5 oases in its bounds. And that's where. And man made kind of streams or ditches have been made that connects them in this large rhombus. Not rhombus. Pentagon? Pentagon. In this large pentagonal shape. But the buildings are all large. There's a lot of them, and they've grown up like mushrooms over this entire area. You have been here for about 5 years.
Okay.
And you have grown up with Marcella and kind of become best friends with her. You guys have enough in common that over that time, you and her going to the same classes, learning the same things, meeting the same people. You're kind of like a lady in waiting for her, which essentially means you're a secretary. You're a friend,
Oh yeah,
or
I
a
know
best
what
friend,
that.
but you're also taking notes and making sure
Brushing
that
her hair and making sure
yeah,
stuff gets taken care of. Yeah.
yeah. But it has given you already so many opportunities to meet people. One of those people is Aleg. Aleg. Who is Marcella's brother. And he is about 3 years older than you. Handsome guy that you see here and there. You don't really hang out because he is on a different track of learning, but around the dinner table, the very large, extravagant dinner table, when you guys go to the Sand Council's meetings that both Marcella and Aleg are supposed to go to learn kind of how all of this works, you're at the same time.
What was that?
Hello? Yeah, I don't know. I was
That
getting
was a weird echo.
bounce backs. You're getting to know him, and so those and some other humans, you have noticed though that many of the children that were brought at the same time, she had said originally there were like 20 that were selected. Most of them are tieflings, Osamar, other. Like there's a couple that you see that their hair moves like flame, and their skin is like a rich chocolate color, or you see some that seem to move with the wind, like their clothes move as if there is a slight wind, and when they talk, it's a beautiful like sing-song type of voice.
Well,
that seems to draw you in?
I've been there long enough, right? That I would have realized that there's it. I guess my best assumption is that it's a buddy system, but one of the buddies gotta be Mageborn.
That does seem like what it is, yeah.
Okay.
Um,
I mean, seems weird, but okay.
uh,
That's like I think my that was my whole assumption. Okay, that's a little odd, but whatever.
they it seems that a lot of these children that have been paired with Mageborn are also children or relatives of the council itself, of the Sand Council. And the Sand Council is like the leadership of Thurnan.
Yeah.
Um, so you're getting along well with them, and as happens with time, you find yourself getting closer to Alec. Um,
Well,
and
then.
Teenagers and their hormones.
yeah,
Going like a 5-alarm fire.
we we zoom out of you kind of running between these council chambers, and we zoom back in with. I wish I had more. It didn't occur to me until I finished writing notes. I don't have a lot of positions for other people to sit in, so I'm sorry for you guys, but I appreciate you being here so we can learn about the characters. Um, so we zoom back in, and um, where am I?
Did you want to have us take our break right now?
Yeah, let's take a break. I'm gonna. Yeah, okay, that's where I was. I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna use the restroom and get some more water, and
Food.
then and maybe some scarfs down some food, and then we'll be right back. Maybe 8:30, 10 minutes.
Okay.
don't need my dice today. No, these. Cool.
Soon you'll need them every day.
Naomi might need 'em.
Always. I need to get
It's
like
the
luckier
duck
dice.
dice that are betraying me, which is the saddest part.
I'm sorry, which dice?
They have little ducks in them.
That's
My duck
amazing.
dice. Yeah. And yet they betray me. That actually tracks.
They're ducks.
Yeah, they're gonna betray me.
Freaking ducks.
I don't know.
That
Beyonce seems
that
kind of
zero
excited
was
to see me.
That 0? Yeah.
that was impressive. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Best roll of the game.
Oh, I've rolled so much worse before. It's a talent. Especially when we're doing online live.
I like how, Megan, you choose shirts that you make sure have something on them, so it doesn't look like you're just a head floating in the void.
I'm trying. I'm trying to mess with my camera settings. I don't know why it's always like this.
Earlier you had a background. I don't know what happened. It got dark and
The sun
It
went
is
down.
dark, yeah.
Yeah.
it's
There's a
you're
lamp
just
on
like
in here too. You wouldn't believe it though.
it's a cool effect.
She's contacting us from inside the internet. Okay, so time passes, and Marcella pairs off with one of the Mageborn, and they get married. And after that, it's not a very long time before you also find yourself in that arena, Prudence.
Oh, I had to try to get married.
No, you fall for Oleg,
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, and you are happy. And your honeymoon is essentially a tour of the entire city, and some of its outlying areas, and lasts for about a month and a half.
Oh, dang. Nice. And I don't have to do someone else's laundry. Awesome.
When you
Wait,
get
yes, I
home,
do.
you're kind of that being the first time he really kind of jumped like that. That's lucky because he was doing it a lot earlier. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You when you get home, you guys move into some of the Royal Council apartments, that have a lot more freedoms, and like you said, you don't have to do laundry anymore. You're not having to chase after Marcella, making
Well,
sure that
I'll
Marcella's
do
taken care of.
Marcel's laundry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But you do notice that once you guys move into those apartments, those rooms, you see less people.
mhm.
It's probably expected less of you because you're not really in that program anymore. You're considered, um,
I'm a newlywed now.
yeah, well, you're a newlywed, but you're also part of that family, right? You're part of the
Yeah.
ruling council, essentially.
The social elite.
The social elite. I mean, Alec is, I guess, part of the actual council, but you're part of that same social elite. And
An
you
officer's wife.
kind of, but you don't have a lot of the other officers' wives to talk to. You
Can I
notice.
sidebar with you really quick, hon?
Sure.
Okay, hold on. Okay.
You see less and less. Almost. You don't think it's on purpose. I guess you don't feel that way at first, but
Well, I got a lot of my own stuff.
And
I'm
the people
doing,
that you
but
were
then I
hanging out
noticed
with
it. Yeah.
have their
Also
own
gotten
lives. Yeah.
married off and stuff. Okay.
It is about a month and a half after you realize that you're pregnant
Hmm.
that you realize something is wrong.
Okay, so like
There's only
a vibes off or just
the vibes off, but also you note that there's only maybe 10 people, including the people who are working in your household, that you see on a daily basis, and none of them are close to you. So there are people that work for you and for Oleg that clean the house or that do laundry or
well,
that
yeah, he's
serve
just
your food. These are the only people that you're seeing.
okay. And so, and I'm not really like leaving, even if I ask if I can, like, because if I find out, you know, she finds out she's expecting, then she want to go tell her parents.
You're provided with paper and ink and envelopes, and you write your letters, and they assure you that they will be sent.
Okay. Do I get return letters?
You do not.
Does my husband have office hours? Because it will not take long where I start getting worried.
You see him.
Or at least pissed.
You see him. He's one of
Yeah,
the.
I
He's
know.
one of the
He's
10.
there. I'm just saying that, like, I'm gonna get cabin fever, or just like I want to go out and I keep getting like denied. I'm gonna start getting stir crazy, and not be in the best mood. But I'm gonna start poking around because there's only so much you can do in a day if other people are doing like all the chores.
You
and shit.
start to go a little crazy. Cabin
Yeah.
fever, whatever you want to call it. You and why wouldn't you? You see the same 10 people, and not all
Yeah.
those 10 people every day. I mean, you're maybe seeing 2 or 3 people a day, and one of those people is your husband.
Well, and that was the thing. Like, I went to school for
Yep.
doing something important, and being stuck inside and not being able to do anything. That doesn't. This doesn't seem like important work. Like, this doesn't seem what I was supposed to be doing. Like, something feels wrong, and we'll just let the crazy out. I guess I don't know.
As you do you voice these fears?
I probably wouldn't necessarily like out loud say it like that. I'll just continuously dropping the hints that this doesn't seem like, you know, shouldn't I be doing something more, and like asking to like volunteer to help, or you know, whatever fancy ladies that upper echelon are supposed to do. Because again, I was raised around them after I was 11, but you know, I feel like there should be more I'm doing, so I'll keep attempting to be able to find more for something for me to do, because you can only like repaint the bathroom so many times.
The doctor, there are a couple that begin to show to check on you. They're concerned about your level of activity, and you know, I mean, you were 11 when you left your town, and you've been around enough women just
Working in the farm, like
normally that you know how
yeah.
long a baby should take.
Mm-hmm.
It's progressing a lot faster than you would have expected. After about 3 months, you're carrying as if it's been 6.
So I guess that doesn't seem right, but again, there wasn't a lot of pregnant tieflings around, so for all I know, it's a thing that
True.
I still think it's like we're and every time like if the doctor comes to visit, so just
He seems like what's happening is normal to you. He is talked to you about trying to take walks around the house to try to alleviate some of that stress, but he also lets slip that there's a sickness going around, and they don't want you to catch that in your current state. Roll me intuition.
Oh gosh, please don't let this be bad. What? I'm a 16-year-old. I don't have
I'm
any
loving
intuition.
the stories that we're telling.
Uh-huh. Hold on.
And you're not. You are 20.
Okay, but still, I don't know very many intuitive.
I'm just saying you don't have that excuse anymore.
I'm sorry, have you met a 20-year-old? You said intuition? What is that, right? Insight?
Insight.
Then it would be an 8.
Okay. Yeah, that's what he says. He says that there's an illness going around outside, and that's why you're being kept so like protected,
Okay.
Isolated.
isolated. Thank you.
Could I at least get some books or like I just someone give me something to read, something to do, so that I don't
you
like
have
climb out
you
the
have
window?
a fairly large library. Not like Beauty and the
Okay,
Beast
so
large, but
I will ask, since he's a doctor, if he has any books about like the physiology or like medicine for tieflings or mage born or something, just so that like non-traditional humans, so that maybe I can understand more about what's going on with me or how to, you know, what to expect when you're expecting a maybe tiefling.
he says I think I do. I'll look into that. I'll bring it for my next visit.
Okay.
And somewhat, you've gotten some answers, whether or not they're good answers. You've gotten some answers, and you make your way, waddling as you do, to bed.
Waddle.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're 6 months pregnant, and it's been growing faster than normal.
Okay.
You're doing the
I'll
pregnancy
let you say
waddle. I don't know what you want from me.
graceful. I don't know what you're talking about.
Go ahead and roll me a dexterity check, and we can
Oh,
agree with
screw
that.
you. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So you make your way up to bed.
I rolled a 20.
You deftly make your way upstairs into bed,
Awesome.
and at some point in the night, you wake up and you've got a light sweat, like you're anxious about something, and you feel the hair on the back of your arms and on your legs stand up because you're being watched. And you're laying very still, and you're kind of doing that thing where you look around the room.
Mm-hmm. Without like moving.
Yeah, and this is your room. You and your husband sleep in separate rooms. And across your feet, you see the edge of the bed, and past the edge of the bed, you see 2 furry ears sticking up that are like a light gray past the bed.
Okay. So could be a really odd question. How well tucked in are the blankets on the other side of the bed, at the foot of the bed?
How well do you tuck in your feet?
Not at all. Okay, cool. So I'll climb under the covers and try to sneak, the lump under the blanket and try to sneak to the other side of the bed and like poke my eyes out under the blanket where the little fuzzy ears are.
As you move to the foot of the bed, you are not a small tiefling. We've went over this.
Yeah, I know. I'm half asleep and got woken up to the Easter Bunny.
You see a familiar, smallish, fluffy Herringun dressed in a mixture of like a dress and oh, the nuggies.
Aw.
Dressed in like a mixture of like a riding cloak, riding dress. And she's staring at you with one eye raised, and her glasses are perched on the edge of her small round nose.
Do I know you?
I mean, yes? What are you doing?
Sleeping?
Of course you are. And she kind of chuckles to herself and walks around the edge of the bed. The bed is tall enough that if you were laying flat, you would still only see her ears as she's kind of
Mm-hmm.
walking towards your
So
bedside.
I'll sit up and go, hop on up, and then like, I mean,
She
can
chuckles softly to herself and places a glass of some kind of mixture on the side table. It's an amber liquid, and it's steaming a little bit. The glass is clear. It does not smell like sleepy time tea. It does. It smells savory, but you don't think you've ever smelled this combination of herbs.
okay. What's that? There's a difference between curiosity and if it smells good. And also I am pregnant, so gotta think of other person there.
She says, it's made with a flower that you find just north of your hometown. It's. Have you ever had saffron? And you have never had saffron.
No, I haven't.
It's a tea made of a type of flower that is
Yeah.
north of your hometown. It's mostly for smelling, so you can drink it if you'd like, but it's a little bitter.
So I just. But what happens if I sniff it?
You're already sniffing it. It doesn't seem like anything's
Yeah.
happening. It
Okay.
smells. It smells warm and bright and fragrant, like flower fragrant.
Oh, it's like air freshener.
Yeah, it's kind of like an air freshener, like
Okay.
potpourri.
Thank you for the present. I don't know why, but does my room smell bad?
No, but
Do I smell bad?
you haven't left this tower in
No, I haven't. It is
a couple
so
months.
boring here. Can we go on a vacate? Do you know how to get out of here? Is there like a bunch of people sick out there? Because I was told they're sick. Are you sick?
Sick.
Yeah, like I was told there are a lot of sick people out there. That's why I can't go outside.
There are a lot of sick people out there. That is true. And she places a book from one of her pockets on your side table,
Ooh.
and you recognize it. It's a copy of the book of fairy tales and stories that you had when you were a child. It's not the same book. Yeah, it's not the same book, but it is similar. It's thicker. This one is thicker, so maybe it has more stories or different stories.
Oh, cool.
But it has the same name. It has the same print stamped on the cover.
So that's like a baby gift. I can read stories to the baby. Yeah.
I think that you'll find a lot of stories in this. Well, some of the stories. Well, one of the stories will make sense, hopefully. If
I
you're
hope so. These are kid stories.
if you're well enough to understand its meaning. And she lines the book up with the corner of the side table.
Okay. Okay. But are you sick? You never. Okay. Thank you.
She looks in shock across the bed at something on the other side of the bed.
Okay. Look where she's looking.
And when you look back, she's gone.
I'm gonna like scramble around the room looking under the bed and like, where'd she go? How'd she get out so easy? I can't get out that easy. How'd she do that? Oh, she washed her hands.
And then you see in the corner of your room, there's a set of curtains with 2 rabbit feet sticking out from the bottom. No, I'm
Oh my gosh.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, I would have been like, hi.
It was like those magicians that you love on TikTok.
Ah, yes. Oh, yeah, I love those.
Okay. So you have been left with a book of fairy tales. You have
Okay.
been left with strange smelling potpourri tea.
She didn't say. She said it was bitter. She didn't say it was unsafe to drink, right?
Correct.
Does it smell good?
No. I mean, it smells like potpourri. It would be like drinking potpourri.
I don't want to drink it. No. I'm just gonna light a candle or get some light and start reading because I'm awake now. I'm gonna get some.
You're
snacks,
partially
too.
awake. You're also a little thirsty, but you open the book up, and you can see that a page has been folded.
Okay, I go to the folded page. I mean, obviously she wants me to read a certain story that I didn't know about. I know all the stories, but okay.
Is that you drinking the tea?
Yes, there we go. Oh, I didn't even pay attention to what I was doing. Yeah,
Nope,
she
you
totally
really
didn't pay
didn't.
attention to what she was
Okay.
doing. Started drinking the tea.
Good. As you are reading, unlike when you've read these stories before, it's almost like the book and story unfold around you, and the room around you becomes that story. And it's the story of the foolish Jinn, which you've read before, but
Okay.
this one is different. This one seems like the Grimm's fairy tale version of that story.
Okay.
And it starts with a prophet, a um, a farseer, um, a woman who is blind for one reason or another, who gains the ability to prophesize and see the future, is in a voice much deeper than her natural voice, is telling of a prophecy that the jinn that you recognize from the fairy tale that was kind of tricked into giving his power to a merchant who created this kingdom and the city around the five oases. The jinn was tricked into giving him his power, and then the merchant used all of his power until there was no more jinn, and then the merchant died. That's how the foolish jinn goes, right?
Okay.
This starts with a farseer with a prophecy saying that the jinn would be reborn to a son of the merchant and a mage spawn. And you can see that the merchant in your vision looks very similar to a specific family line, and that family line goes through Alig's father and Alig himself. And he looks a lot like that. But so do a lot of the younger men as part of the Sand Council.
So I'm reading that and I look at the team like, ooh.
Give me an insight check with advantage because you drank the tea.
Okay, so twice, right?
Yep.
Okay, you said insight, right?
Mm-hmm.
12.
Okay.
It's better than the one I just rolled too, so I mean, I'm okay.
The story in the book as it unfolds, members of the council, the Sand Council, follow the Farseer's prophecy, right? They're part of a secret club that all have like beliefs and about that this foolish jinn story is real, and it's the reason the city has been so prosperous, and they're going to take this prophecy and make it real under their own timeline, right? They're going to control the situation. Instead of letting it happen at random, they're going to control the situation. And you see the pieces fall into place that your child could very well be this part of the prophecy. And even if your child is not, they probably believe your child is.
Okay.
And that spells bad things for the being inside you.
Mhm.
Because they want to capture slash end the jinn again under their own control.
Okay, so after reading this with my specialty, I do know for a make she knows for a fact that this is something that is like core into a lot of beliefs in the cities as a whole too, right? Especially the upper echelon.
It's mentioned more as a before this. It's mentioned more as like a jokey thing. Like it's a
Okay.
fable that has become part of history, but people still see it as a fable, or at least that's what you thought. Like normal people, right? But there's obviously a group in the Sand Council that actually believe
Okay,
and
and that
want it to come to pass under their own timeline.
okay, so I am well aware that there is potential danger now.
Yeah.
Okay. How do I summon a rabbit? She got in and out of here real easy. But I think that from that point on, my whole everything is gonna be how do I get out of here? Because even if none of this is anything, if there's anyone that believes in it, then there's gonna be a problem. Because prophecy, whatever, it doesn't matter if it's actually real. It's just a matter of if the people believe it's real. I don't want anything to happen to me or the kid. And is it still the middle of the night and I'm just like planning my escape?
Yeah.
Oh. Because this was like that light bulb moment.
Yes.
I start packing my shit.
Okay.
Do I make a rope? Can I make a rope out of my sheets?
Yeah, you could probably make a rope out of your sheets. Roll me a survival check.
Oh no!
But you've been rolling so well.
Uh-huh. I did not. Oh, damn. That would be a 19.
Okay. You burdened with a focus you
I'm
have not
focused.
you've not gotten before. You're able to strip your bed and make a rope using the sheets and linens and curtains, and you're able to make a rope and tie it to something safe enough that you're not going to fall to your death.
I have a big bed. I have a nice house.
And now make me a climb with advantage because you're using a rope, but a climb check.
Still. Okay. And it was in athletics?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that'll be 18.
Okay.
I'm
So
determined.
you make your way down, and this is the first time you've been out in the heated desert air in months. And you hear talking and movement of the city around you, but you're still well within the walls of the council estate.
So, really quick before I start walking on what I'm assuming is stone floor,
Mm-hmm.
put like little socks on my hooves so they're not so clippy clappy.
Okay. You wrap your hooves in.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I have some that who wants clippy clappies like during court? So I have my little hush shoes.
Okay.
I think about dumb stuff. Just wait till you have to put me in the desert. I have plans.
You pull your floofy lace-topped socks out that were specifically made for your hooves and pull them over your hooves.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
So
and
that
make your way
quieter.
into the night. Give me a stealth check.
Do I get advantage because my quiet feet?
No.
No, damn. sick.
The look of defeat on your face. As you are na 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 clip cloppy, you think that you're super silent.
Pregnant. I think I'm being super quiet, but
You're maneuvering like a very
maneuvering.
pregnant woman with hooves, thinking that a pair of thin socks would cover the hooves. What it did was made your feet more slick over the ground. So you're actually having a harder time navigating the terrain. But you hear somebody cry out as you start to cross over the areas to get to the outer gates. And they're at first shouting for you to stop because you shouldn't be here. And then, once they realize that you really shouldn't be outside, they start raising alarm. So give me an athletics check as you begin to run.
Damn it! It won't even go in the bucket.
You're rolling inside a bucket and having trouble getting into the bucket?
Yes. What was it? Athletics?
Yes, athletics.
It's a 5.
What dice are you using?
The duck dice.
Still?
Yes, that's all I have. I don't know where the rest of my dice are.
They are D20s, right?
Yes.
That
Yes,
would be hilarious.
Basic. Yes, that's a D20.
I don't have dice right next to me either.
Oh wait. I read it wrong. It was tilted. Yeah, I can roll it. Let me not use that stupid bucket. What is it, Nimoy? It's 12. 13. Are you bringing me dice? I think it's the bucket. It's one of the ghost Halloween buckets. I think it's haunted. Oh, honey, it's really not a big deal. Maybe I'll use this pineapple. There we go. Yeah, I'll use a pineapple. So 13 now. Still not graceful. Okay.
You pick up speed, and you make your way out into the city, dodging your way through the unguarded gates. And as you pass through, you can see down to the left a little bit, the guards that should have been on the gate are playing dice. Down the hallway a little bit, down the walkway a little bit. And you make your way out into the night. You cut a very unique visage. You are a very unique looking person. How are you making yourself not look like who you are so that you can try to be a little bit more...
So because like I'm super clever and everything, I had all my clothes. Didn't really pay attention to what I grabbed. I'm pretty sure, but I grabbed the first piece of clothing I can out of my bag and I tried to turn it into a shawl. Like just put it over my head so that you can't see my horns. I am in my pajamas.
I am
So-
already in my pajamas. Go ahead and roll disguise.
Gosh. Oh, you fucking kidding me? Yeah, it's a 1. This isn't a kid's show anymore. Oh my god, I hate these dice. I'm setting them on fire after this.
You're pretty sure you don't look anything like what you did before. You grabbed what you thought was a shawl. It's a tea towel, and you have it draped over your...
I'm tired, okay? It's like over my hooves. Like,
over
it's
your
just, like,
over all of your horns, like completely over your horns. Really, it's a tea towel about that big, and it's sitting on top of your horns. As you in your pajamas are running through the road with your
I
clip
still have
clop,
my hands like this.
dainty, dainty fancy socks that give you silent running. I guess is what you thought. You're friggin' acing this test.
Yes,
Did
I
you have a
am.
Did you have a backup character?
You are the knight.
You are the knight.
Yeah, I am. I'm trying to jump
If
from
someone
shadow
out
to
there,
shadow.
if someone out there wants to draw something ridiculous, I think that Naomi just gave you your muse. All right, so you make your way into the night. Everyone who sees you knows exactly who you are, and those that aren't giving you up immediately, are hiding because they know that the large amount of troops that are following you are going to be right on your heels.
Okay, so
Hooves.
Hooves, thank you.
my hooves. Yeah. Hold on. Let me see what I have up my sleeve because I'm starting to panic here, people. Okay, so I'm obviously scattered and know I'm gonna get chased, but like I'm looking around to see the closest thing to like what I can assume is a friend, like someone that might give me safe haven. I feel sorry enough for this crazy girl with the napkin on her head.
Give me a perception check.
Oh hell yeah. Hold on. So that's a 19.
As you are kind of running into one of the many like squares of this huge city, where a lot of people's homes open up onto it. This one's a larger one that you assume may be a market by day. You can actually see the young face of one of the women who has been checking in on you in your during your pregnancy. You see her peeking out from behind one of the curtains of one of the houses to your left.
And I'll dash over there and just be like, "Can you please hide me? Please, 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 please."
She does not look like she is willing to stake her safety against your safety. So give me a persuasion check.
Really quick.
Yes.
I cast Charm Person.
Okay.
Wait, real quick before I do that. I'm gonna do it anyway, just so I know my repercussions. Is this the one when it wears off, they like hate me?
No.
Okay, cool.
None of them. None of the spells work like that, where they hate you.
Well, they just don't like
Friends,
because,
What was
huh?
that?
friends makes
Friends.
them hostile towards you.
Oh,
Yeah.
friends
The
does.
cantrip.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay,
Okay.
so
I have been running friendship wrong. I didn't
That's
have them. I
why
didn't
we
have.
didn't take friendship for her.
yeah,
But
that's why I didn't take that one. Okay, cool. What is my rule for spell?
So you're not gonna have a roll. You're going to tell me what my DC is. So you're gonna have a spell DC, which is probably on your spell list, or on your like it's gonna be at the top of your spell list, or the way to calculate it.
13.
There you go. Okay. And how are you casting the spell? How does the spell present to you as a bard?
I start crying.
Okay, but your
Like, just full on.
are you saying that your spells are just natural? Usually you have to have components, right? So a vocal component, a hand, so like your hands moving. For a lot of bards, it's playing music or using their voice in a certain way.
So, yes, probably it's gonna appear a lot more of natural only because I haven't actually officially been trained in it. It's just somehow when I get the really big doe eyes and I like do this sweet voice and I sound really, and then I can I start to like rub on my horns because I'm really nervous, and somehow people like do what I ask them to. It's weird.
Okay. You make yourself about as pitiful as possible.
I have a
Uh,
napkin on my head. It's surprising how well I can get pathetic.
and she, her pity is charmed by you, and she looks sad for a moment and then moves over and opens the door.
Okay.
You manage to get inside and close her behind you as a whole bunch of security, army,
Mhm.
your people, council's
Guards, whatever.
guards, rush into the center, and almost as one, everyone closes their curtains. Like, because no one wants to be.
No one wants to be in trouble with
Yep.
them.
And so it's not really obvious that you went into this home.
Okay.
So, give me a D20.
Okay. And I'm hugging her and thanking her and obviously panicked in my fucking pajamas with a napkin on my head.
I am already in my pajamas.
4.
They break apart. The group breaks apart, and of guards, and they start going to different houses, and you can see them start walking specifically up to this house.
Do you have a back door? Is there any way I can get out? And here's some money.
She looks at the money and says, "You're gonna need that more than I will." And she points back behind her, and you can see there's a very small. It's right next to the fireplace. It's a pass through where they could put firewood.
Oh, like
through.
firewood and stuff.
Yeah. And she says that's the only. And then you look around and you can see that all of the windows are too small. You might have been able to wiggle through without
The belly.
the belly, but you're gonna have trouble with that. Even this one. you're
Yeah,
gonna have
like I'm
trouble
looking
with.
at that, looking down the thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And then I take the napkin off my head and I give that to her. And then I try to get into the
She looks confused at the
I'm
napkin you just handed her,
Yeah.
and you're gonna try to squeeze through. So go ahead and give me another survival check.
Oh no. Okay. I think that's a 14. Let me double check. Yeah, 14.
You squeeze in, and for a couple very short breaths, you're afraid you got stuck because you're not moving. And then you hear a banging on the door behind you, and that gives you all the oomph you need to push through, and you find yourself
When you do.
sprawled out on the cobblestones and stone on the back side of her small house. Like her small one-bedroom house. You hear the guards yelling, and it goes muffled as she closes the door, the small door behind you. You can hear them yelling about something inside, but the walls are too thick for you to hear specifically what they're talking about.
Okay. I gather myself and bolt.
And to prevent us from about another 15 rolls that Naomi's just
Thank
gonna
you.
massacre, you run into the night, and the guards, they don't give up. Over the next several months, you are ruthlessly chased. Every time you stop to take a breath, to rest for just a moment, you can feel them on the edges closing in.
I'm trying to get out as far as I can. As far as I can.
You end up
Where people don't know me. Maybe there's more tieflings. I don't know where they grow. Where does they
with
come
a
from?
small group of catfolk
Oh.
in the desert. They're a group of nomads that have circled up the horses and camels and riding lizards. And there's a matriarch with them. She's the one that kind of runs that tribe, and luckily she's also a form of a medicine woman, a midwife, and helps you as your time comes.
Do the Khajiit have wares?
Nice, well done. Because Naomi doesn't have the coin.
I'm missing something.
It's from Skyrim.
Yeah, definitely missing something.
Yeah. The it's a painful birth, and it takes a while, and it's leadened against the weight of this ever-present chase behind you. But before too long, after hours of blood and sweat,
Yeah.
the matriarch hands you a small, moving, larval blanket mass.
What?
It's like a bundle of blankets that's moving like a larva.
Oh, okay, but like it's just swaddled, right? We're not
Yeah.
talking I gave birth to a baby bug,
It
right?
occurs to me now, I probably should have said that a little bit
Said
differently.
swaddled. Thank you. That was concerning. That I get.
Yeah,
I
a
thought I had
swaddled,
to
a swaddled baby has always reminded me of
Okay.
larva.
I thought well, because Jay was in that glow thing at like glowworms.
Yeah, true. Also larva.
Yeah.
Anyway, it is a small tiefling boy with light blue skin and like black ink tattoos or something that are moving just beneath the surface of his skin.
How does one even hide that?
That is a good question.
Who do I ask to answer that question? Because I know already, like that's a prophecy right there.
You're given a short respite as you travel for a couple of weeks with this nomadic tribe. And the child, while growing very quickly within you, seems to grow at normal pace for a baby. So
Yay.
this absolute tiny infant is attached to you a lot. And
Oh yeah.
often.
Imagine hiding probably at least the first year.
Yeah. On the 21st day, at midday, the nomads stop. And it's because there's someone on the horizon heading towards you. They were already wary, not wary, vigilant, because they knew that you were being chased. And so while they originally stopped because they saw something, they're a lot more curious now when they realize that something is much smaller than them and furry and fuzzy and a rabbit.
Have years with the glass. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
A herring gun.
I could used a Haragon's help getting out of here. She could told me how to get out
As
of that
she
place.
walks through the haze of a mirage, you see her in the distance. Her form shifts. It grows. The fur kind of falls away, and you can see her skin is green and lumpy in places. Her arms are long, much longer than they should be, almost dragging against the ground and end in sharp, tipped nails. Her hair is lank and hangs from her scalp, near balding. And she has a dress that is similar to the dress she was wearing, but it's older and stretched, as if it has just spent a lot of time hanging from this frame. Her exposed skin is mostly, where her exposed skin would be, is mostly covered up with wrapped fabric, but that wrapped fabric is covered in stains of liquids unknown. And as she gets within about 200
I drank
yards
something she gave me.
of the nomadic tribes, She stops and she raises a hand with one long, wicked finger and turns and says, "Just a moment, dearie."
But no. Does she have the, like... What is she?
Roll me a Arcana check.
19.
You have only heard stories, but you have heard more than a few stories about desert hags. And that would be your pretty educated guess as to what she is.
What do I know about them?
They
Like, am I running the other way, or am I, like,
under normal circumstances,
might be on my
yes,
side?
but why she has tied herself to you is of question. Usually they deal in deals. They like to make deals, but also they have a hunger for power. Sometimes literally.
I got a prophecy baby with me. I'm not gonna feed my baby to the crazy lady.
Probably smart.
As far as you know.
I'm not gonna be... Bitch. For all I know, I'll roll and the baby will slip into her mouth. I don't know. She is obviously that was, like, she's not, like, pretending to be the bunny rabbit that I knew. Or not the Haragon that I knew. She was in a disguise when I met her.
Give me an insight.
16?
You are getting the same vibes off of her as you did the Haragon. Which means you also, there's a level of inherent trust there that you didn't expect.
Yeah. There's inherent trust to the people that set me up to be a prophecy womb, so... But from what I'm guessing I know about these hags, like, there's not a running away at this point.
She will probably be able to find you, yeah.
Okay.
She found you here in the middle of the desert.
Okay. I'll just be like, I'm gonna go confront her, and the child is gonna stay back with them.
You hand the child off to one of the cat folk
Yeah.
that you've been hanging out and talking to lately,
Yeah.
and make your way out across the sand in the intervening space. How far away are you stopping?
So I am going to be closer to her than I am to the caravan.
Okay.
Because I do want, like, space between them and her. So, I don't know, like 5-10 feet away? Well, definitely not 5. So 10-15 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
So is that well?
There wasn't a very good chance of you escaping.
Yeah. That it was awkward, but I am graceful. Guild at escape. It was very classy.
Apparently. And she cackles. The sound sends shivers down your spine.
Yeah.
This can go several ways, but you should know by now. She's looking at her large hands. Hands that are even too large for her large body. They won't ever stop. You know that, right? As long as you are out here, and he is out here, it means that a Jin could come back and get revenge on them.
Sounds like something they deserve. But how can we be safe?
Well, one way, dearie,
Can we be safe? Yes.
is I take the power that child now possesses, and I use it to put them in their place.
I feel like I understand where you're coming from, but I feel that would be a choice best made by the person possessing that power, and they're not old enough to make that choice yet.
While I can understand your want for the consent of the child, his life will not be an easy one if that child even has a life. If he does
But
not grow up under the shade of that jinn born so many eons ago.
fair? By taking that power, what do you mean?
I will take a single drop of the child's blood, and in that drop, all of and only the jinn's power that is within that tiny morsel of a child. And in return, you and he will be safe.
Okay. That I like. Should I just not ask about what happens when a hag gains Jin powers? You said
It's all rather complicated. I don't think you would really understand. And she's looking at her nails on her hand like,
like, yeah, this is suspicious stuff. Okay, I want us to be safe. The people that helped me to be safe and my family. Like my family back home.
I can't say anything about them, but I can give you a head start.
What's that mean?
It means that I cannot guarantee your safety from the Prince or the Sands Council in the long run.
Oh,
Especially if I have to also try to protect your family back home.
Oh, all I'm asking is like, if you get a little power hungry, there's places to avoid.
Oh, your family are very nice. I don't see myself encountering them ever again.
Okay. I'm gonna take that as a positive. Quick question. What are you planning to do? Just a little tea.
The Jinn, his ends, I believe, it has been a very long time, but I believe his wants and my wants align in this. The oasis that started it all was perverted into what you saw, what you grew into. It and the other pools of brilliance that existed in that area, I just wish to restore them.
Okay, I get it. Like kind of an environmental activist. Okay, I get you.
And
We'll be
feed
safe.
and
Me and
feed
this one are gonna
upon
be safe.
and feed upon every person currently living in that city.
Okay, so I could like give the heads up to the ones that are there that I don't want to die.
If you're fast.
Not that fast. There's just like one house particularly. I wonder if I could send a letter. I don't know.
I fear that you're not understanding the true nature of
Yeah,
what
I
I'm
have a
talking
feeling
about.
it's going to be a big problem, and I feel really, real bad for everyone that gets stuck between you and whatever your big problem is going to be. But I don't want to have to be constantly we don't. I don't want cosmic greatness. Like greatness is good, but cosmic greatness not so much. My son does not need that kind of pressure. Also, being murdered sucks. Sorry, I'm exhausted. Oi. Okay, we're gonna argue this actually on. It's a good deal. It's just I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah, I just keep trying to figure out. I'm gonna take the deal because we want to be safe. Don't want to be chased down. I have a feeling we've had brushing, like already had a brush with that stuff. So. Ooh. Okay. I'm gonna go back to the caravan and be like, you avoid that oasis area. We're not gonna go back there, and I need my baby.
Okay. And they hand you the child.
Okay. I don't know why I'm doing that. Okay. So I'll bring him to the hag. Just a little tiny prick, right? Because I don't want.
Yes, yes. A single drop of his blood. And
I do that,
you bring her close.
and I'll do the little prick because her
So
nails do not look
she
sanitary.
holds out her large hand for you to put the baby in.
Yeah, I got this. And like I'll take a brooch or something with a pin.
No, no, no. I have to.
Hold on, wait. And I will go back. I want her to wash her hands, because that's gross.
Okay, you bring her the accoutrement to wash her hands,
Thank
and she thinks
you.
it's ridiculous, but she washes her hands, and
Give me
then
a break.
she dries them on her dress.
Ew, not the. Again, I'll get you. This is the thing until their hands are actually.
She washes her hands and then holds one giant hand out for the baby.
Wait, I'm still half holding on to the baby.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she holds on to the lower half of the baby, and she says some words. If you want to roll Arcana, you might be able to understand what they are.
That would be 11. So.
You get the
Confused about this
gist.
whole thing.
You get the gist as she's kind of tapping the baby in different spots, and then drawing lines between those spots. It sounds a lot like she's casting a stone skin spell. And then she drives a hand straight at you, and you can feel your inner self separate from your body. And as you are falling backwards into the sand, you hear her say, "I never said the drop of blood was now, sweet thing." And as you hit the sand, you wake, like you don't even transition through darkness. You're sitting in sand that is reddish orange, and it's cool and hard. Like you're not in the desert anymore. This is stone that has sand on top of it. And you're looking around and it's nighttime. It wasn't nighttime a second ago.
Do I still have my kid with me?
No.
She did promise you'd be safe, right?
I think so. You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
A
Oh, that might have been a
dangerous
bad
creature
choice.
now has your child, that's for sure. But she did say he was going to be safe.
I think that we should have had some more discussions about this before we did it. But okay. But okay.
She said she requires the Jin's power. So until he is of age, your insight, your GM, is telling you he's probably safe until he's of age, at least.
Honestly, if he was gonna have a nanny, she's kind of creepy, but she definitely isn't gonna let anything hurt him. Oh, I hope she washes her hands more.
Sitting
Where the fuck
across
am I?
from you, you're laying on the ground, looking up at the sky. There's shrub brushes around you of the types you've never seen before. And there's a young human man, or young human boy, blonde hair, blue eyes, that is sitting with his legs crossed. Freaking dog. Yeah, that's right. Can you still hear me?
No.
I was talking to Naomi. Jerk. He says, oh, he says, the young boy sitting across from you says, interesting. There are so many threads that still tie you there.
I'm not tied up.
Am
I?
No, that's not what I mean, but, we're gonna have to take a closer look at that. Welcome to backstage. We're almost ready.
Oh my gosh, am I dead? Am I dead? I'm dead.
I
I'm dead.
mean-
I made a deal with a hag, gave her my baby, and now I'm dead. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. All right. I'm dead. Okay, cool.
You came to that realization really fast.
I read stories. I know how this goes. I made a bad choice. Made a deal with the hag. I'm dead.
Do you have 2 coins for the ferryman?
I'm dead and I get charged. Okay.
That's
I'm
not
sure I
gonna
have
be
something
good.
around here.
Yeah, that's really not gonna be good. I'm sorry.
What the?
And he smiles at you and then steps behind one of the larger bushes and is gone. And that's where we're going to end it for tonight.
Okay,
Thank you
so now
guys
you're re-roll a character.
very much for hanging out. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, we're gonna be starting pretty soon with the full gamut, which I'm super excited for. And I hope that you guys are excited too. It's been a while. I know Crow has been sitting on the back burner because he was ready for this game months before we even talked about getting it finished up, and then he was the first one to go. So he's now had several weeks to just kind of.
No, it's awesome. I love hearing stories.
But yeah, I hope that you have a fantastic night. If anybody's out there watching it, if they're not, then that's fine too. Drink a lot of water, and I don't have an exit video or anything, so yeah, game on.